Hey there guys, name's Zach, and welcome to my video. Today we'll be talking about one mechanic in Baldur's Gate 3 that I feel is overlooked and not talked about nearly as much as it should be. A mechanic you surely missed as you jumped out of the pod, went and took the lift, walked up, passed your first check with flying colors, and rescued your new brain dog. Oh, look at her, isn't he so cute, the little tentacles? Recruit this lady, get into a fight with some imps, only to realize that they're imps. And they're improvised weapons now. Command this guy to drop his cool new flaming sword, steal his cool new flaming sword off the ground, and then somehow mess up putting two tentacles together that cause the textures to not load in my game and get yeeted out of the ship. And now that you're finally done with the tutorial, we can start the video. So, let's start off with the first question. What are weapon skills? Well, they are unique martial skills granted to various weapon types within Baldur's Gate 3. Slashing weapons might have lacerate or the cleave ability, whereas piercing weapons get access to piercing strike or piercing shot depending on if they're melee or ranged weapons. Every weapon comes with at least one or two skills that they can use. In the confines of Baldur's Gate 3, this isn't that big of a deal when you're receiving spell scrolls to sling around every corner and magic items throughout your entire playthrough. But what if I told you I went and made an entire document where you, my friends, can include this system into your very own D&D game? This document includes an organized table of all weapons within the player's handbook and all associated weapon skills to go with them, plus a couple of extra weapons and skills that I made myself to really spice things up. The way I set up the system to work is that instead of only getting one skill per short rest as you do in the game, I made it so the skills have a collective pool equal to proficiency bonus. So a third level character would only have 2 uses of any weapon skills across any weapon type that they utilize per short rest. This way, those that play martial classes are incentivized to actually use these special attacks when encountering combat, while also bringing in options and choice to a martial player's turn, which, unless you're playing a battle master, you won't really have. I introduced this system to my players, and I'm glad to report that they've been having a blast. The unique set of skills each weapon provides creates the opportunity for meaningful and important choice, which my players have really taken to and loved. Also, somehow, Pommel Strike has the most disrespectful energy out of all the skills. You'll see what I mean when you use it, or if you're a DM, have it used against your monsters. You'll see. All of this bringing me to my last point. Why would you even want weapon skills? To some extent, I feel 5th edition struggles with weapon identity and weapon uniqueness. A prime example is the spear and the trident. They're effectively identical in every way from a statistical standpoint. However, when you add in weapon skills to the mix, a trident quickly becomes very distinct and different from a spear based on the very weapon skills that they receive. I also see a general lack of desire to play martial classes in general, and from my experience it's because people just found them to be monotonous. And what I've gathered over the years from various players is that they just don't get the same versatility and options that other classes do during combat, and that what they have is relatively limited. The common experience of someone who's playing a martial class is that each turn essentially feels the same. They just perform their 2 attacks and end their turn. And yes, doing large, boisterous descriptions does help bring a martial character to life, but can you really keep doing that for the potential hundreds of hours of your campaign? Probably not. I tend to find that gets tiresome after a while, and that's what weapon skills solve. You see, the theater of the mind of a weapon skill is already in use when performing an attack. Saying, "I'm going to perform a lacerating strike," makes your brain think of a violent attack that leaves your opposition bleeding. That's already much more involved than, "I'm going to attack him 2 times. I'm sure you guys have encountered this where it rolls around to a martial character's turn. They do their attacks and then just pass over their turn. It comes and goes, with no greater impact than just reducing the hit points of whatever they're attacking. The great thing about having a special attack for all characters is that every player at a table can impact combat in various ways beyond just dealing damage, while also getting the added benefit of having options during a turn for their attacks, which is something very foreign to every D&D class except for a specific subclass. And to give a visual of what that looks like, this is what it looks like. You see? Absurd, right? So if you're looking to spice up the experience of anyone who isn't casting a spell at your table, I highly recommend you give this system a try. They will thank you, trust me. And that, my fellow adventurers, brings me to the end of my first ever video. Making and producing this was a huge process, and I had a lot of fun with it as well, as you can tell looking back at the first minute of the video. Oh, and that document, you ask? You can find it for free on my Patreon, the Mythweaver's Loom. Links in the description down below. Big thank you to all of those who stuck around to the end, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and maybe some potential weapons you think I should add in the future, as this is a list I do plan on compiling over time. But with that, have fun, adventurers, and I'll see you all in the next video.